Good evening, all. Audible? Very good evening, all. Okay, thank you. Just before the networking tea break, let's talk something about networking. So first of all, thanks to Strategy Inc. Thanks to all the team members for calling us again and again. I'm not used to this Strategy Inc. and DICON events. DICON should be, I think, part of the Urban Dictionary now, the word DICON, right? Talking of DICON, data, AI, cloud, all of them need networks, right? So networking is the base of all this. Cloud needs data centers, AI needs data centers and networking. So probably let's talk something about what AI ML does in the networking industry as such. So a very short topic, two very important, interesting things which we have developed. As an industry, as Ruckus, part of Commscope in the campus networking and the whole overall data center networking space. Let me go on. Okay. Rakesh. So, for those who don't know me, or I know a lot of people here, Kalyan Chakravarthy, part of Ruckus, I head the pre-sales or the systems engineering team. And I heard that we're planting trees for all the speakers. So I got in one more speaker, Rakesh Jain, is our solution architect. And we have a whole Ruckus team, probably they'll all meet you outside. Thank you, Rakesh, you'll have a plant in your name too. So this is where we are. A lot of people know this. So when I say unbeatable performance in terms of switching and routing and Wi-Fi, zero trust networks, we have been part of that for a long time. AI and Converge. I'm not going to go on the marketing side of this, but just a data points and some kind of starting of the year always come back. The first DICON event, I always say that the top trends of networking. So me from a networking background, so we say physical and digital convergence. Wi-Fi 7 is the trend of this year. It's going to be a big game disruptor probably in the middle of this year. Intent-based AI networking, which I'm going to talk of today, and digital twin. Green networking probably for the data centers where you have a power saving. So I'm going to just focus on the 3 and 4 here, intent-based AI networking and the digital twin, which kind of very interesting things to do. So just before that, the whole AI ML, buzzword for a couple of years, we have been there and a lot of people have been hearing it. So we took it up probably a little late, but then proudly we say that we have grown, as Sir said, fail first, right? that's a good fail early, yeah, right? So that's the so we kind of failed, we took it up. So now I would proudly say that we kind of on par or better off than the competitors in AI and ML. So talking of AI ML, the 3 things which AI ML does for the campus networks or for data centers, for any networks is predictive analysis, right? To come up with issues before the CIO knows it, right? So as Venkateswar was saying a story, the story would be you go back home today, come back the next day, but then once you see your mail, you say that, the whole night there was an issue, it got solved automatically, but, nothing came up. So there was no escalations from anywhere, from the users or from the IT team or from the production team. But that's a story, right? So that will not going to happen today. But having grown into this AI ML and what I'm going to talk of AI intent-based networking, probably that story will happen in a couple of years. So the key is, surface issues before they blow up, right? Come up with issues before the end user sees it in the network, right? Which saves us a lot of time and kind of escalations from the end users, right? And address the more important issues first and then fix them fast, right? These 3 are the keywords which any IT manager wants us to do from a networking OEM perspective. And we address all these 3 with our AI ML softwares. How do we do that is probably this, right? So go into intent-based networking. So you all have heard of the old SDN, right? Software developed, software-defined networks, right? So the whole network was kind of divided into software orchestration and the hardware part, right? So the software and hardware were, kind of divided, and then the whole abstraction layer, right, was added to the whole hardware part, right? So beyond that, when you add AML, network orchestration, and something about automation. So that is called as intent-based networking. So basically what is this is, it bridges the gap between the business and the CIO, or business and the IT teams, right? So you don't define how a network runs, or what are the parameters of the network. You just define my intent. What is the intent? The user gets so much intent, the whole AIML takes up into automation, into orchestration, and then it defines its own parameters in the network, and then it gets into a configuration mode automatically. So you don't define the configuration, you don't configure the network. You just type in, or you just provide the intent. So that is what is the intent-based networks, which will be the buzzword probably in the next end of this year onwards, or starting of mid of this year. So how do we do that? Obviously, a mixture of generative AI, AIML, digital twins. I'm coming to that. AIML optimization, human machine interface. And so in the industry 4.0 or 5.0, we've been hearing of human machine interface. Continuous monitoring, anyways, which we do now in the networks. Network orchestration, which nothing new, but yes, probably a new flavor with AIML. The last one is very important, validation and assurance. So you validate the networks, service assurance and service uptimes. What it will bring to the IT organizations of the enterprises is obviously operational efficiency, agility, performance, security, which we all have been talking about, sorry. But coming back to this, so why I brought this up was, this is not a new term. It has been there for some time, but of late, people have been moving on to intent-based networking. So it was not a new one. 2017, the first thing came up. But one more thing which comes up is in probably end of last year also, is digital twins. So how do we get into this? So generative AI, from morning we have been speaking, right? So that's one way of doing it, and we use it for a lot of network optimization, our chatbots, our auto configuration or predictive analysis using that. Digital twin is another thing which we kind of brought into our cloud-based network management tool. We call it R1, the Ruckus R1. Very interesting. So this is where kind of will lead to actual intent-based networking. So so before that, one thing which we do very well, and I wanted to bring it to all of you, is earlier we used to have events in the whole networks, right? Based on events, you used to have alarms, and then you used to have some mails and SMS, and you said the network is doing this, network. Then came incidents. Incidents had a little bit more data beyond the events. Incident has some reason for the event, why the network is down. Probably a list of reasons, probably a predefined list of reasons why the network is down or not performing or slow, or a disruption in some service. These days, it's anomaly. Anomaly is not only you detect an event, an incident, you have thousands of reasons why it happened, how can it be prevented, and the whole history of why it happened before. So is it the same reason, is it new reason, or is something, why the reason is reoccurring. So incident has a lot of data, but anomaly detection is beyond that. So once you do an anomaly detection using the machine learning and the AI platform, right? So machine learning is on the routing, switching, firewall, Wi-Fi, network nodes platform, correct? AI is on the cloud, which basically analyzes data. So once you do the anomaly detection, half of the job is done, right? You basically end up with, okay, this is why the network is misbehaving. Misbehaving is different from network is down. Network down is a disaster which will not happen these days, right? In terms of the new AI, ML networks do not have a kind of a network outage. If they are doing well, and if you are design well and implement well. So anomaly is, what's the small issue? Why is one user not able to access ChatGPT, or one set of users, right? So that's an anomaly. And this is where all the cloud platforms, including Ruckus R1, come in, and the faster you do the anomaly detection and come up with answers, the better the predictive analysis of the whole network. And the usual graph AI, machine learning, and statistical analysis is part of this. How do you do the anomaly detection? Coming to, okay, where's the next? Yeah. And we do have a patent for anomaly detection. This is one of the key patent for us in the network management platform called R1. All right, so the other interesting thing which we recently launched, and somehow I feel it's like a disruptive thing in the whole network management from a cloud perspective, is creating a digital twin. So we all know digital avatar and digital twin. We have been hearing our digital avatar and twin, right? So this is from a network perspective, from your network perspective, right? So we call it an asset twin, where one node can be replicated. So digital twin is what you basically create a physical, you create a virtual instance of a physical device, right? So asset twin is one node going virtual. System twin is a couple of nodes, a couple of routers, switches, Wi-Fi access points or firewalls going into, a virtual mode. And then you have process twin, where you have a set of routing switching nodes, and you add a configuration on top of that, and you basically make a whole twin out of it. So it was not possible before because we didn't have the cloud. Cloud gives us the more horsepower and the storage, to do that, right? And of course the tools from AI, ML to do that. So once we have this, what happens is, you remember the old staging zones where you used to replicate nodes to try out a new software feature, to try out a new some feature or a firmware, new firmware which comes up, or a completely new application which you want to test. You don't have to do all that. So the network is replicated. It's a digital twin from our cloud platform, and you can load multiple sets of firmwares and softwares and features and try out what happens. So you can predict what happens, and this is more from a new feature or new software perspective, and also from a anomaly detection perspective. So if there is a lot of issues, you kind of replicate fast and see what's happening there. So whether the old firmware is a problem, the new one, this feature enabled is a problem, so disable this feature. Suddenly this application was loaded in the whole system. Let's say a new version of SAP. Is that the problem? So that's where the digital twin comes in, and you save a lot of time, money, effort to replicate issues using physical hardwares. This is a real-time process.
Like in UAT.
Sorry?
Like in UAT.
Yes. The benefits of digital twin is, network architecture design. You design new kind of networks, use different topologies and see how it goes. Let's say you have a stacking, then you don't want to go stacking, you want to go star, you want to go into fabric from a switching perspective, right? You are in Wi-Fi 6, you want to go into Wi-Fi 7 and see how's the network performance. So designing, simulation and modeling, yes. Automation, which is like validate a new script and automate a new script and see how it works. You don't have to disrupt the production network, right? Cyber security, do a pen test of a new feature of a new software and see what's happening, right? Even before, that's one of the major nightmare kind of, right? So you have you have software update and you're really worried what happens to the pen test after that. So this you can even predict before. And of course the whole life cycle management. So the digital twin is something which we have come up. It's a unique feature for us in the R1 platform. And I request you all to try out. Rakesh is going to tell more about the products here. The interesting thing, so all of you have wireless networks, Wi-Fi or related, and there's always some issue of speed and interference and roaming issues or handover issues and stuff. So we have seen that we have our own share of escalations which we solve, but very few. But when you have a wireless digital twin, you basically replicate the entire wireless network. You basically replicate, and you come up with predictive, modeling of channels and bandwidths and devices and device types and laptop types. Whether this particular laptop, this particular driver in a laptop has a Wi-Fi issue. That's typical issues. So this thing you can simulate. You don't have to take months and months to come up with some answer to a solution. So this is where I think we say that it's disruptive in the industry for us. Ruckus is the first to have this. As I said, wireless AI available in the cloud. So it's part of our R1 platform. Rakesh, you're going to talk on that. So AI-driven RRM and AIOps. AIOps is our analytics platform on the cloud. So what we say is to all the customers is create a digital twin. It's part of the platform. There's no separate license for it. And you do AI-driven simulations of what is the network configuration and features you want. And add some automation, add some scripts, and then basically you come up with a service validation of the whole network. So you're done. So basically you can even upload an SLA, upload your own SLA, make your own SLA, and upload it, and then that becomes your baseline for your, the digital twin. And basically the whole network operates on that SLA. Once you are having 5.9, replicate that just into the production network. You don't have to do multiple sets of iterations and testing. So that's it from my side, an interesting networking side of the story of the digital twin and the intent-based AI networks. I would request Rakesh to come up and just briefly touch on the suite of products which Ruckus has, and then we can. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kalyanji. Good evening, everyone. So, thank you, Kalyanji, for giving us the insight about network visibility and control, AIOps, and how this can be made possible to implement in our network. So, as you talk about Ruckus One, so this is our unified management platform which can give you all the functions which we have talked about till now. So whether it is converged management for wired and wireless network, so you can have a single pane of management to manage your entire network. And then it can give you AI RRM platform. It can give you IoT integration. As I was listening to one of the panelists who was saying we have a lot of interop issue when we were deploying the IoT. So we have the ecosystem with a lot of third-party vendors. So we have done the pre-testing. We have the integration platform. So you are not bothered to have that kind of issues. So to make your life simpler, we have integrated everything, which is why we call it as Ruckus One. So then on the wireless side, on the network side, we have the wireless access points, whether it is indoor or outdoor. So we have the complete range of that. So beauty of this wireless access point is we can integrate IoT component into the same network. So usually we need to have a separate IoT network to have the IoT this thing implement in the network. So but in case of Ruckus Wi-Fi, you can have the IoT sensor which are Bluetooth or Zigbee. So that can be integrated in the same network, and you can have a single network for IoT and your data network. So then we have on the network side, we have the network switches. So this is the complete range of switches which can take care of your Wi-Fi or your end user requirement for wired. So this is our latest product, R770, which is Wi-Fi 7 enabled. So now we are talking about a lot of technology. So this is again one of the new technology, which is Ruckus is the first one in the industry to launch this. So this is commercially available. You can request us for the POC. Product is available. So I will not take much time. So this was all. So our team is here. If you have any question, we can take it up offline. So we are keen to work with you. Thank you.